So obviously we're both enthusiasts. You way more
Yes.
than me because it's literally your job and your career. But first of all,
Yes.
what exactly is IT asset disposition? What is ITAD?
So ITAD is essentially, in a nutshell, if you've got redundant IT or unwanted equipment that no longer serves any purpose to you, it's taking up space or it's draining your systems and everything in between, then you would get an ITAD company in who would collect the redundant and unwanted IT. We then process it, we'll do a full audit, grade it. We also do the data destruction on it, so a full erasure of it to make sure that your data isn't going anywhere further than what it needs to. And then the items will be recycled or they'll be resold depending on their age, their condition, their market value at the time. And yeah, then the rebate goes partly back to the client and everyone is happy. It's a good process in which you can make sure that you're getting the best out of your IT assets, even if they are unwanted. A lot of people think once they're done and dusted, that's it, they're done, they should be trashed, and that is not the case. Shouldn't be going to landfill. That causes a whole host of issues, and you can still get something out of that asset, even if you don't think you need it anymore. So it's a good process to follow. It's a good system to take up in your company.
Yeah, absolutely. Is so forgive me because obviously the focus on hardware asset management personally for me has been
Yes.
more in the last 5 to 7 years, I'd say. So before that, the
Yeah.
focus was purely on SAM, software asset management, and then obviously the whole SAM and HAM coming together to do ITAM thing is kind of kicked off.
Yeah.
But when I was
Exactly.
starting in ITAM, like in 2007, 2008, I'd like never heard of ITAD.
No.
It didn't
No.
seem to be a thing.
It's quite well, I'd say it's quite a new concept. I mean, we've been around for 30 years. It was my father-in-law's business. So we've actually been around for a long, long time. So whilst it is a new concept, I think the difference is it has been around for a while. It's just it wasn't really heard of. It wasn't really promoted. Companies weren't aware of it. Obviously, in the past, 10 years especially, there's been a big focus on being more sustainable, being more eco-friendly, be more proactive as a company to do and take these steps to be better and green. And I think that's where ITAD's really come into play now, because it's something that makes a massive difference to the company, gives massive benefits to the planet as well. So it kind of goes hand in hand with what everyone's trying to achieve to make the planet better. I think that's why it's become more popular and more of a thing now than 20 odd years ago.
Everyone wants to hug a tree now, right? Everyone wants to be
Exactly.
green.
We've got to look after this
ESG.
planet. We've got to plant more trees and make it a better place. Let's do that with IT as well.
Let's no, absolutely, completely agree. But I think, yeah, no, that's a really good point. That yeah, maybe it's just a lack of awareness. Maybe it's just a lack of organizations. I mean, you used to see,
Yeah.
walking around office sites back in the day when you used to go into an office every day.
Yeah,
Crazy.
exactly.
You would genuinely see monitors, keyboards, mice,
Yeah.
desktops, laptops, just in like a skip. Like it wouldn't.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just be
the
chucked
steel
in there by
cages ready to
facilities.
just be chucked and thrown away by whoever is handling it at the time. And that was just how things were done back in the day. It was unwanted, it
Yeah.
didn't work, so it got chucked. And now this is more coming to play, the whole ITAD situation. It's definitely making a benefit in numerous ways. Like it helps companies, it helps the planet. There's so many benefits to it than just chucking it in a skip. So
Yeah.
it's definitely something, like I said, has become more aware, just because, like you said, people have become more aware, more educated on how the process can help and how to do things to actually make a more sustainable future. You see a lot about it everywhere. So it was only going
Yeah.
to be a matter of time before IT come into play.
No,
Technology is the future
absolutely.
after all.
No, absolutely. And I think as well, obviously technology's evolved a lot, right? So even since when I first
Yeah.
started, like even the monitor sizes, they still had the massive
Yeah.
back box at the back.
Oh God, do
Desktops were
you remember
huge.
them?
Yeah,
There was no way
but
you was
then
getting that flush on a wall. A
no,
big
yeah,
massive box sitting out the backs. They were absolute tanks back in the day.
yeah, exactly. And I think maybe as well from an ITAD perspective, because the technology was evolving so quickly in the 90s and the early 2000s, that maybe repurposing stuff, it wasn't as attractive as it is today, because it literally went from a
Yeah,
monitor with a massive back box to slim,
just
slim,
something
slim, slim,
really
slim.
slim. Exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah, so
Obviously, technology is still evolving every day, but the status of how it is you can't really get much slimmer in certain aspects these days. Obviously, they're just developing it to make it more system friendly and to have more perks on it. But essentially, the sizes and the look and the aesthetics of it aren't changing as much to what they were, like you said, 15 years ago, when you had this big massive tank of a monitor that you needed two people to lift to move anywhere. No one's going to want to reuse that. And maybe, like you said, that is why that's come into play. As things have evolved, things have now become more attractive to recycle, because they can still be reused and they're still aesthetically looking pleasing to the eye.
And everything was that whitey beige colour as well, wasn't
it? It was horrible. It looked so stained. It looked like that off creamy colour, and it looked horrendous. So glad that's gone, and now we're into the silvers and the blacks and making things, like I said, more aesthetic, because that cream was doing nothing for no one. That was awful. God.
That cream was doing nothing for no. It didn't work. It just didn't work. It didn't look
It just didn't work. You can tell it didn't work because they're not around anymore. So there's a reason that cream is gone and it has never come back.
Everything, as I look around, everything is black or silver now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess that helps, right?
It makes it fit into what people like these days. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you can still get coloured ones. We've seen rose gold, red, blue. You know, you still do get the colours coming around from people that want to push the boat out. So there is options for everyone. But I'm glad that cream's gone.
Yeah. You don't discriminate. If someone's got a rose gold or a purple iPhone, you'll still ITAD it and judge.
Exactly. You know, we're not picky. We'll take whatever colour.
If you're an organisation and you're buying your employees rose gold or coloured iPhones and stuff like that, it's got to be a bit of a...
No, we ideally, you probably want to stick to your silvers and your blacks.
Absolutely. Is that are they easier to repurpose if it's just like a standard corporate colour for things like mobile phones?
Normally, because then, for example, if you've got a handful of I don't know, Lenovo's or something that are all in really good nick, still a really good spec, easily to be resold, there might be a startup company who is looking for some laptops that obviously they can't maybe afford the brand new spanking, so they want to get a second-hand refurbished that's still in good nick and still usable. They can get something called the same spec, style, colour. It just makes it uniform across the board, and a lot of companies like the uniformity. So it does make things easier. But then obviously everyone is different. There's always a home for something, for anything. There's always people out there that do like the bold colours and like things different. So on the whole, it is probably easier if they're all uniform and the same. But
completely.
Where there's a will, there's a way.